Winnie the Pooh was a popular book series by A. Mill. I think that's how you say it. It was about his own son, who was called Christopher Robin. Could you have guessed that? They don't have the same name somehow. I don't know how that works. And his adventures with plush toys. More specifically, his bear that he called Winnie the Pooh. Well, that's not the original name, but who the hell cares about the original name? And these guys actually exist. You know, they exist and they're still around. It's kind of insane. So if you ever wanted to see the real-life Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, Kanga, Piglet, and Tigger, well, here you go. That's what they look like. They're also on public display in the New York Public Library. They're over 100 years old. This is neat. But let's get into the Disney adaptation. Disney's Winnie the Pooh brand is one of the most profitable brands in the world. Disney would make the Winnie the Pooh brand the third most profitable franchise of all time, right below their own Mickey Mouse and Friends, with $48 billion worth of revenue. It's insane how much the Winnie the Pooh franchise has made. In case you're wondering what number one is, it's Pokemon. When Winnie the Pooh was first released, it actually wasn't released as a full film, because Walt Disney thought that while he would like to make a full-length film, it didn't really work out that well. It'd be better for a short. So they released a short, and the short was wildly successful, so they made another short. Interesting fact about the original short, Winnie the Pooh and the Honey Tree, which is the first part of the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh. As you can see here in this little poster here, that two characters look kind of off. One in particular, Tigger and Piglet, are not really featured in this at all. Piglet makes a little cameo at the beginning, and Tigger not at all, just kind of strange. Like I said, they're main characters in the book. But they weren't part of this short. So here we have really weird-looking characters, which would not be the final designs, obviously, but it's very interesting to see. That original short was a success, so they made a sequel short called Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day in 1968. And the last short was Winnie the Pooh and Tigger 2 from 1974. Disney decided, we're going to put all these films into one film, and that's where we get The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which pretty seamlessly stitches all the parts together since Winnie the Pooh is already a segmented story to begin with. If you weren't aware that these were all three different shorts, you wouldn't really know because it doesn't really feel like different stories. I mean, there is different stories, but since the shorts already featured three different stories, it doesn't really affect the plot of the film much. And there really isn't much of a story to Winnie the Pooh. It is pretty basic. It's basically just a bunch of characters going through little misadventures. When I say misadventures, I mean really small stuff, like can Pooh get his fat ass out of a hole? That's one of the little stories. And another story is, can Tigger get down from a tree? So not very heavy-hitting stuff here. How does he get down from the tree, you're asking? I know. The narrator of the book flips the book sideways so he can slide down on the words. I wish I was joking about this. This actually happens in the film. If you like creative uses of narration, then you're going to like this film a lot, because the narrator is there all the time, basically reading this book as a story. These characters are in a book, always. And when the character guy will talk about, well, let's go to the next page, the characters will even interact with the narrators, like, I don't want to turn next page, I want to continue eating honey. And it's very charming. I like that aspect a lot. This is a very laid-back and charming movie. It's definitely a great one for little kids, as it is a great marketing thing. Obviously, everyone likes Winnie the Pooh, but not everyone loves it, though, at the same time. I can see someone easily writing off just baby stuff, but if you're really in the mood for this is just some fun, good old fun stuff. It's lighthearted and charming, and there's nothing better than just a simple old day in the 100-acre woods. What more do you want? Did you know that Winnie the Pooh's the exorcist? Look at that. Something I don't see in later versions of Winnie the Pooh that much is the fact that these characters are all plush toys, which I guess makes sense, but as a kid you don't think about that. For example, his seam gets undone, he has to zip it back up. Wow. No one else will care about that other than me, but I like plush toys, so that's kind of funny. This is not an actual bear, it's only a plush toy. Also, Winnie the Pooh is a fat icon, because he says, I am short, fat, and proud of that. He doesn't care that he's fat. He likes eating copious amounts of food. Copious is that even a word? Who the fuck cares? So there is some problematic stuff, like Pooh does blackface at one point.
I'm a little black.
Alright, for all those people who are yelling in the comment section, because I know people don't understand jokes, he is actually pretending to be a rain cloud, but, it's a little sus. One thing he probably didn't know about Winnie the Pooh, but it's very British. Well, not this version of Winnie the Pooh. The original book, it was written by a British guy, and was very popular in Britain, but not that popular in the United States. So when they made it in Disney, they pretty much Americanified it, where every character is no longer British, other than Christopher Robin. Unlike Alice in Wonderland, this didn't create much problem, since it actually brought the franchise into superstardom, as a lot of people who didn't know about the book series before were actually getting into it because of the Disney animated shorts, so that's a good thing. But some purists are really pissed off they had this Gopher character, who is the worst character in the movie, because he's fucking annoying. He's not in the books, and people hate him. I can see why. They cut him out pretty much all the other shorts after the first one. Oh, there's also this weird acid trip that happens in the middle of the movie, which is like the pink elephants, but nowhere near as good. But hey, it's interesting. One of my favorite parts is when everything's raining and everything's like flooded and the characters are like stuck there. It's kind of fun. It actually seems like it'd be more dangerous than it is, but it's really just relaxed, rather than Pooh getting his head stuck in his honey jar, which is kind of funny. One of the interesting things about the movie is Winnie the Pooh himself. He is not a typical Disney protagonist, that's for sure. He's fat, he's lazy, and he's dumb. I'm not being mean, by the way. They literally say all this stuff in the film. He literally says, I'm short, fat, and proud of that. And I'm not a brain. I'm a bear, very little brain. So yeah, I like this movie a lot. Though, when I first saw it, I liked it a lot more than I do now. By now, the charm weighed off a little bit, but still one I recommend. Especially for those who are just in the mood for just a chill time. It's maybe a good one to smoke some weed to, maybe, I don't know. Winnie the Pooh has so much merchandise, so get ready. Get in your seat, because we are going through all the Disney Winnie the Pooh stuff. Well, maybe not all of it. Disney will release another Winnie the Pooh short not long after the film in 1984 called Winnie the Pooh: A Day for Eeyore. I actually haven't seen it, but yeah, it's the final animated short for Winnie the Pooh. Wah, wah. In 2011, they would actually make another Winnie the Pooh film theatrically by the main Disney studio, but we'll talk about that when we get to that one, because there's a lot to say about that one. Winnie the Pooh would become a marketing giant during the 80s and 90s, and then even all the way into the 2000s, 2010s, and even current day. So they would make a bunch of direct-to-video movies based off certain stuff, including Pooh's Grand Adventure to Search for Christopher Robin, Tigger movie, Piglet's Big movie, Winnie the Pooh Springtime with Roo, Pooh's Huffalump movie, Pooh's Huffalump Halloween movie, My Friends Tigger and Pooh Super Sleuth Christmas movie, My Friends Tigger and Pooh, and a musical, too. My Friends Tigger and Pooh Super Duper Super Sleuths. I don't know what the fuck Super Sleuth even means. A really gross-looking, not really live-action remake sequel came out called Christopher Robin, which makes the characters look like fucking disgusting pigs. Look at me in the eyes and tell me that this is a good character design right here. It's not. A kind of creepy puppet show was released on the launch of the Disney Channel called Welcome to Pooh Corner with all these weird plush toys. It was, I guess, successful since it ran throughout pretty much the entirety of the 80s. In the late 80s and early 90s, there was The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which were basically just an anthology series but in TV form. This ended up being really popular, and they ended up making a lot of VHS and DVD releases of the episodes as full movies, which is why I haven't mentioned some of them. So yeah. The show definitely fits the theme of the movie very well, so if you want more Winnie the Pooh, here you go. And there was another show in the late 80s and early 90s called The Book of Pooh, which looked like Pooh's Corner, but, you know, worse somehow. And there's a new animation called Playdate with Winnie the Pooh, which doesn't look... I don't really like the way the characters look at all. But yeah, the Disney Junior shows are not my thing. In the 2000s, there was this weird show called My Friends Tigger and Pooh, which replaced Christopher Robin with some random girl who was voiced by Chloe Grace Moretz for some reason. It was weird. I remember as a kid being very confused by it. Winnie the Pooh actually has quite a few amount of games, obviously, too, because Winnie the Pooh is everywhere, including video games. One of his first games is on the Amiga 500, which is a point-and-click game. A very beta, old one, if you couldn't tell by looking at it. I don't know much about this, but hey, it looks interesting. Most of the Winnie the Pooh games are very educational, since a lot of the Winnie the Pooh merchandise is based off of younger audiences, from young kids to babies. So not so surprising to see a Winnie the Pooh game on the VSmile, which is the edutainment console. Here's what one of the games looks like. You're looking for honey. What else would you be doing as Winnie the Pooh? On the PS2 and GameCube, there's Piglet's Big Game, based off Piglet's Big Movie. And the previous game also might have been based off a Tigger movie, but the world may never know. This game is mostly cutscene based and with very little minigames in between each of the cutscenes. So I guess for a little kid, it'd be fine. Winnie the Pooh isn't the only one looking for honey, as Tigger's Honey Hunt, which is a PS1 game, has Tigger look for honey, even though that's what Winnie the Pooh likes. I don't really know the story of this game since I never played it, but yeah, it's a 2D platformer where Tigger wants honey, even though Tiggers like to bounce, and even in the movie he says he doesn't like honey, but whatever. Also, 6th generation consoles, you got Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure, which seems very similar to the Piglet movie, but this time we're playing as Winnie the Pooh, obviously. On the PS1, we have a Mario Party ripoff. It's Pooh's Party Games, basically. So yeah, it's basic party stuff, Mario Party ripoff, but for some reason a random weasel decided to join in. Like, who the hell is this character? I had never seen that character before. What the fuck? There's also a Game Boy Color game, Adventures in the 100 Acre Woods, which has basic mini games in between certain small levels. Like I said, Winnie the Pooh games aren't very in-depth because, well, they're Winnie the Pooh games. They were made for a younger audience. If you're a PC game enthusiast, you'll probably like the animated storybooks. I read the Toy Story one while I was a kid, and I liked it a lot. Winnie the Pooh has actually 2 of them for based off the Honey Tree and Tigger 2 shorts, which is kind of interesting. They didn't combine them into one game, but oh well. Winnie the Pooh is very prevalent in the Disney parks, having a ride based off his first film, being The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, located at most parks like Disney World, Disneyland, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. However, this ride is a little infamous, mostly for replacing previous rides. At Disney World, the original ride was Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, which was the Disneyland staple. However, they were replacing it with this since Winnie the Pooh was more popular, though there's a big crowd of people who had the devil guys from the ride trying to say, send Pooh to hell, which is pretty funny. These are at Disney World, by the way. This is the biggest ride purchase I ever saw. Mr. Toad's Wild Ride doesn't even look like that great of a ride, to be honest. I've never rode it, but who the hell knows. But from what I've seen the Disneyland version, it looks okay. It's nothing that spectacular. There's been worse ride replacements, which we'll get to when we get to the Disneyland one. The Disneyland one was originally replacing the Country Bears Jamboree, which was a Disney World staple that transferred over to Disneyland. The Country Bears Jamboree is probably the best ride at Disney World. Unfortunately, it used to be because they changed it recently to make it worse. Seriously, Disney, why'd you make the Country Bears a sellout to your other Disney corporations? It was a perfect attraction. Why would you have to shove in all your other crap in there? It just feels so soulless and lame. I want the original Country Bears back. Give it to me now! I know this just changes happened recently, but I'm still pissed off about it. In Tokyo Disneyland, they had their own unique version of a Winnie the Pooh attraction called Pooh's Honey Hunt, which is the first trackless ride, I feel like, at Disney. Maybe not, but it was very unique and looks pretty cool. I would have loved to ride this ride if I ever go to Tokyo Disneyland because it looks really nice. It's not the only unique Winnie the Pooh attraction over in the East. There's Shanghai Disneyland has the Honey Pot Spin, which, if you can tell by looking at it, it's just the Magic Tea Party. Though I gotta say, I really like the aesthetic of this ride. It looks really nice. Really tasty looking. Back in Disney World, we have Pooh's Playful Spot, a location that doesn't exist anymore. This used to be part of the area 1,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Is that what it is? 9,000 Leagues? Whatever, it doesn't matter. That ride shut down due to maintenance issues, in case you're wondering, for all those people who like that ride. But anyway, this little attraction was built with the, of course, Winnie the Pooh attraction, which, you know, was fine and all, but they eventually decided to destroy it and make way for the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I prefer this playground. Looks way cooler than the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which looks very tacky. Also, they got rid of the Snow White Scary Adventure ride, which I liked a lot. So yeah, overall, my day is ruined. Whatever, I don't care that much. At pretty much every park, there is a Winnie the Pooh ride, and in every one of these parks, there is a Pooh store. Now, pretty much all of them, except for 2, are called Pooh Corner. Though Hong Kong and Walt Disney World want to be different and called their store the 100 Acre Goods. I guess they're whatever you prefer for a pun or a reference to the book. Take your pick. And that's it for all the Winnie the Pooh stuff. Winnie the Pooh is in the A tier. Like I said, didn't quite make it to S tier, even though I previously have ranked it there before. It is a good film, and I highly recommend it to somebody who hasn't seen it before. If you're in that demographic who might like it. You might not like it, but I, personally, will vouch for it as a good film. This movie had no villain, so we'll skip over this section. There are quite a few songs with Winnie the Pooh. They're more quantity over quality, though they aren't bad. Melodically, can't even speak. Melody-wise, they are all pleasant. They are all done by the Sherman Brothers, who are very good at writing music. Most songs are sung by Winnie the Pooh, who isn't the best singer, but the melody saves it for the most part. So in the D tier, we got Hip Hip Hooray. Don't explain much about that song. It's just called Hip Hip Hooray. There's not much going on there. Heffalumps and Woozles is more known for its visual than its actual song itself, though it's not bad for what it is. Mind Over Matter is similar category to Hip Hip Hooray. Nothing else too special there. And then, of course, there's actually 2 more songs. I don't want to say. I was supposed to say, that's the odd for the D tier, but no, we got 2 more songs here. A Rather Blustery Day, which lasts 10 seconds, so what else do you want me to say about that one? Rumbly My Tumbly is also a song that lasts like 10 seconds, and it's just a continuation of a previous song. Then we get to see the rest of the songs are going to be. We got Up, Down, Touch the Ground. It's a stretching song about stretching your back out, which is something I can relate to because I like stretching my back out because it hurts all the time. Then we got Little Black Rain Cloud. It's a nice melody, just ignore how it kind of sounds a little weird, but you know what? Don't worry about that. We got one of the more iconic songs, The Wonderful Things About Tigers. In this movie, it is incredibly short, so that's why I ranked it here. If it was longer, maybe I'd rank it higher. It is a very iconic song, and the best thing about Tigers is that there's only one of them. And the last one for this tier is Rain, Rain, Rain Came Down, Down, Down. Yeah, I know that sounds like a cluster of words, but it's a good song, and I like it a lot, melodically speaking. And then we go, what's this? We're up into the A tier, yeah. The main theme of Winnie the Pooh is very well constructed, and I think it deserves to be in the A tier. And this is what happens when you forget to erase your little things you have in the background. That's all I gotta say about Winnie the Pooh, for now, because we'll be covering its sequel way down the line. Maybe the other Winnie the Pooh stuff. Let me know if you want me to cover any of that crap. Next time we're going to be looking at The Rescuers, a film that I'm not too fond of, but maybe I'll change my mind. See you then. Hey, did you know I have a book? In fact, I have multiple books. They're available on Amazon. There should be a link in the description. However, I do have the digital versions on my Patreon, so if you want to support me and read what I have written, they're mostly kids' books, but you might enjoy it. After all, we all like SpongeBob, or whatever your video you're watching. I might reuse this clip. Then you can make sure to check it out. And thank you.